Now, I know what you're thinking. There's so much in this course. How do I study? Where do I start? All right, so I'm here in this part to tell you the best way to learn with this course. Don't worry, I will break it down for you. I will make it clear. You will know exactly what you should do. So, I want you to again look at this PDF. This PDF is going to be your best friend. Okay, it's going to easily allow you to go all over the course and build this big picture of what is in this course. Now, the way I recommend using the course is to take each big section, English grammar, English punctuation, and English speaking. And you're going to use those sections and study something each week from one of those sections. So for example, for English grammar, you pick one of the topics. And if I were you, I would just go from the start. You start with verb tenses, and you start with all of the lessons in that topic. Also, you pick something from English punctuation, and you make that what you're going to learn for the week. And then in the English speaking section, you pick one of the topics for the week. That way you have one section from each part that you focus on for a week. This will let you learn and not be overwhelmed. Now, if, let's say, right now you only want to focus on English grammar, okay, so how would you do this? Well, the English grammar course is structured, okay, or the English grammar part is structured in a very specific way. So if we look down here, you'll see that I've highlighted these different topics within these main topics, right? And this is to show you what you should know or what you should be learning depending on your level, okay? So we have this common English structure here, right? You know, level A1, level B2, okay? Very common in European countries. Basically, you know, A1, A2 is beginner, okay? B1, you're starting to move up from like absolute beginner. Then, you know, you're into B2, you speak English pretty well. And then C1, you know, you're very good at English. You're trying to become the best, okay? So use this guide to kind of show you, you know, based on your level, what should you be focusing on? And you can see here that green is the absolute beginner, okay? If you really want a good, strong foundation in English, you know, focus on these green topics at first. And then, you know, when you're a little bit more comfortable, you're feeling like, you know, the beginner stuff is too easy, then really focus on these blue topics. If you master the green topics and the blue topics, you'll be speaking English pretty well, okay? At that point, you want to move on to these red topics. These red topics are very useful. Okay, don't just skip them because I've highlighted them in the advanced section. They're going to make your English perfect, okay? They're going to let you talk about many different things in complex ways. So that is how you can look at the grammar section. And you'll notice, right, within each main part, so verb tenses, if you start from the very first one, it goes from easy to intermediate to advanced, okay? And that's the same with all of these grammar topics. If we look here in modal verbs, right, you start with easy, then to intermediate, then to the phrasal verb section, okay? Phrasal verbs, I put all in the advanced because you don't need them to speak, right? You can communicate without them, so they're kind of like an extra additional thing to make your English sound even better or fancy. Then with nouns and pronouns, right? You start with the green is easy, blue is intermediate, and then red is the more difficult. Then with articles and demonstratives, we have mostly easy, right? These are things you absolutely should know and be able to use. Okay, and it goes like that all the way through all of the lessons. So that is the way you should look at the grammar topics. For speaking, right, it's up to you, really. You can look through these topics, and if there is something that, you relate to more, focus on that for a week, right? So let's say, you're in business, right? You're using English for work a lot. Then, start here at business communication and your work routine. But if you just want to learn as much as you can about English, then there's no problem starting from the very beginning and just working your way down, okay? And the same with the writing section, focus on one topic a week. Really study it, really learn it, okay? So that is my recommendation. Again, each week, pick one main section from each main part, from the grammar, writing, and speaking parts, and then focus on that for the week. Use the PDFs, read them offline, watch the videos, and if you continue to do this, you will master English. Speech shadowing. And what you're doing is you're imitating the English that you are listening to. Okay, so you listen to how a native speaker says something, and basically you copy it, right? Now this sounds easy, but there's a good way to do this and a bad way to do this. You really need to focus on the speech, okay? Don't just lazily repeat it. So the best way to approach it is listen to it many times, okay? Really listen to it. Listen to their rhythm, everything about the audio that you can hear. Look at the subtitles, okay, to make sure that you are understanding each word. It will help your brain connect with the audio better. And then what you're going to do, okay, is you're going to try to imitate that audio. So play the sentence, listen, and then pause it and repeat yourself, okay? And repeat it out loud like you're talking to someone. And if you do this over and over every day, I promise you, your accent, your fluency, everything is going to really improve. And some of you may be new to English, okay? So you can't practice at a normal spoken speed. So the best thing to do is slow the speed down, right? You're going to practice it at a slower speed until you can really say it clearly and smoothly, and then you can start increasing that speed. And an optional thing to do, okay, is to record yourself. So every time you're saying something, record it, and then you can play it back to back with the original audio and see if you can notice any difference or certain parts you need to improve. Another useful thing is retelling a story in English. Okay, so what does this mean? Well, if you listen to a conversation or you read some article, then after that, you should try to retell a summary of that story or of that conversation, but in your own words. This is going to help make you very fluent. It's going to force your brain to quickly create sentences on the go, okay? So you're going to try to choose different words, different sentences to retell the same story or same conversation you just listened to. This is really, really helpful. And all of these things are very important, but if you don't know what to look for, they're not that helpful. So this is what you're looking for, okay? You're looking how to identify or how to practice the natural flow of English, okay? The secret, right? This is the secret to speaking any language fluently. It's going to make you sound like you're from the United States or like you're from England or Canada or South Africa or anywhere that speaks English as their first language. okay? And that is to mimic the natural flow of their English. So there are some things you should look for. The first one is something called linking, okay? Every language has this, but linking is where native speakers naturally or automatically blend words together, okay? They join words as they speak, and the sound that comes out is much different than saying those two words individually, okay? So you're going to have to really look for these things. And once you start to catch them and identify them, your listening is going to improve, your speaking will improve, and you'll become much better at English. And one of the ways to identify these is to know about things like contractions, right? Contractions are shortened forms of two words. Here are some common examples. For example, if you have the words I am, right? I am becomes I'm. And if we use I'm, it sounds much different than I am. So let me give you a sentence, and I'm going to try to show you the difference and how you can spot linking, right? So if I say, I am going to eat dinner, right? It's very clear. I'm sure all of you can probably understand that. I am going to eat dinner. But I wouldn't talk like that to another person, right? It's very slow and I'm saying every sound, just to be clear. If I was really going to say something to a friend or, someone I know pretty well, I would say, I'm going to eat dinner. Okay? I don't know how many of you understood what I just said, but it was the same as I am going to eat dinner. I just spoke it more in a native rhythm. Okay? I linked my words together. So let me slow down what I did. I said, I'm gonna go eat dinner. I'm gonna go eat dinner. Okay? I'm gonna. I'm and going to becomes I'm gonna. Right? We link these words together. They have their own new sound. These are the things you want to look for as you're listening to the conversations or the example sentences. How are words being linked together? And this is going to help you understand people quicker and make your speaking better. Another thing that's important for making you sound like a native English speaker is stress. Okay, where are we putting stress on the word? Okay, a very common example of stress is the word photograph and photography. Okay, both of these words are spelt almost exactly the same. Okay, one has a Y at the end, but the stress of where we put the stress in the word is different. We have photograph, right? Photograph and photography. Okay, photograph, photography. Okay, so we're stressing different parts of this word. This is important to pay attention to for your own accent. And together, if you start focusing on all these things, you will learn the rhythm of English, okay? Like the musical rhythm. And then pretty soon, you're going to be speaking like a native English speaker. Now, let me show you how you can adjust the video play speed, right? If you have your video player open for the course, you'll see these numbers right here in this image, the 1x, 2x, 1.5x. That is the speed of the video, okay? Now, if you're a beginning learner, right, and English is difficult for you, don't be afraid to slow the video down. It will help you so much, okay? And even if you're an advanced learner, when you're practicing the speaking section and the conversations and the vocabulary, slow it down. Practice at a slow speed. Make sure you're speaking clearly. And then, when you're ready, you can move it up to the next level until you get to regular speed. In this lesson, let me quickly show you a few tools that can help you learn English. Now, the first tool Many of you may know this, but this tool is called Google Translate. And this is one of my favorite tools. I work with a lot of students from a lot of different countries, and I'm having to work with many languages all the time. So Google Translate is my go-to. It has almost every language. You can save your translations so that you can refer to them later. It gives you definitions and similar words. It does a lot. Now, if you've used it before, you may know that it's not always 100% correct, but every year it gets better and better. If you do save your translations, you can export them as an Excel file. And then you can use these Excel files with common flashcard making websites, and then you can make your own English learning flashcards. So it's very useful. And if you don't know any flashcard websites, my recommendation is Quizlet. Okay, it has a free account. Quizlet is great. You can make your own flashcards. It has AI audio, so you can hear how the word sounds. There's games that you can make with your flashcards. It's very quick, very easy. Another website that I have recently come across is StudyStack, and this is also very similar to Quizlet. You can make flashcards. You can play games to help you learn these flashcards. It's just a fun way and an easy way to study, okay, that makes it not so boring. A website I do want to show you, especially for those of you who have a little bit more advanced English, okay, and are really trying to improve your grammar and your knowledge of English, is the website WordHippo. Okay, WordHippo is a great website. It will give you lots of information about any English word that you're using. Definitions, synonyms, okay, sentences that use the word, okay, many example sentences. You can learn about the part of speech, right? Is it an adjective? Can it be used as an adverb? Many things. So if you have a word you're confused about, go to this website, type it in, and see about all the cool information it gives you. And the last one is a study technique. Okay, I use this for all of my university classes with my students because, let's face it, studying is not easy and it's not fun. It is hard work. Okay, your brain gets tired very fast. So this technique, okay, is called the Pomodoro technique. And in this technique, you study, okay, or you do whatever task it is you have to do in these blocks of time that are 25 minutes long. So what you do is you get some type of timer, okay? I have given you here a website, okay, a Marinara timer, that has a online timer for this technique. So you can use it very easily, but any timer will work on your phone or in your house. It doesn't matter. But what you do is you sit down with your task, with what you're trying to study. You set a timer for 25 minutes and you focus on your task for that 25 minutes. No breaks, no distractions. You are working on that task for 25 minutes. When the timer rings, you stop. You drop your task. You go away for 5 minutes. You do something else. You stretch. You watch TV. And then after that 5 minutes, you come back and you do another 25 minutes. And then when you have done that 4 times, okay, that is one full round. After 4 times, you take a 20 to 30 minute break. Okay? You don't look at your task for 20 to 30 minutes, and then you can start the task over again, or the timers over again. It's very helpful. I recommend you try it. It will help your focus. Okay? If you try to study for a long period of time, you're wasting time actually, because you're not studying efficiently. You're not focusing. You're not going to remember it well. So try this technique. I promise you will like it. All right, and that's it for the study techniques. Let's move on to the next lesson.